Tennessee Titans fans, I've put off really making a video about this or even talking about it very much because I thought it seemed like it was not a conspiracy theory, but just me overthinking it, over analyzing it, reading too much into it. But now I'm seeing other fans talk about it online. So I know it's not just me, it's something that other people have noticed as well. Have you noticed, Titans fans, or even if you're not a Titans fan, the discussion regarding this draft, the discussion surrounding Cam Ward and Shador Sanders? Titans obviously have the first pick in the draft. Have you noticed how nearly all of these media analysts, all of these people that cover the draft, cover the NFL, they all say, well, the Titans need to trade back. The Titans need to take Abdul Carter. The Titans need to, not go one of these quarterbacks because these quarterbacks aren't as high of prospects as last year with Jaden Daniels and Drake May and Caleb Williams. The Titans need to go another route. And they kind of do the same thing with the Browns, who have the second pick. Well, they don't need to go quarterback. They're not a quarterback away. They need to fix some other things. Okay? But then, when they talk about one of those quarterbacks going to the Giants at 3, their eyes light up. When they talk about one of those quarterbacks falling to the Raiders at 6, or the Raiders potentially trading up to get one of those quarterbacks, their eyes just light up. Like, ooh, that would be great. That would make so much sense for the Giants to do. That would make so much sense for the Raiders to get Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. I mean, that would just be great. So let me get this straight. When it comes to the Tennessee Titans, and this doesn't apply to everybody, I've seen some people say the Titans should get one of these quarterbacks. I've seen some people say the Browns should. But a lot of times, these media people are saying the Titans should not draft either one of these quarterbacks because the quarterback's not as high of a prospect. The Titans have other needs. But then when it's the Giants or the Raiders, who were also terrible, who are also awful, who are also, I think the Giants had the exact same record as the Titans. I think the Raiders were like one game better than the Titans. They're both terrible, just like us. Okay? And there's some people who might even say the Giants were worse than the Titans. And yet, when they want to draft Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, that'd be great. That'd make a lot of sense. They should do that. The Giants or Raiders, they should draft. Do you see the dilemma that we're in here? Is it any coincidence that the big market teams, the Las Vegas Raiders, the New York Giants, it would make a ton of sense for them to draft one of these quarterbacks. But the Tennessee Titans or the Cleveland Browns, they've got too much. Do you understand? Do you see what's happening here? They wanted, I'm telling you, when I say they, of course I don't mean every single solitary person, but a good chunk of them wanted the Giants to secure the number 1 pick in the draft. And the Giants ruined it by clobbering the Colts in the next to last game of the season. They wanted the Giants to have number 1 so bad because they wanted Shador Sanders in New York. They wanted it. They could taste it. They wanted Cam Ward at the very least in New York. They hated the fact that the Raiders managed to get a couple wins late in the season because they wanted the Giants and the Raiders at the top of this draft. And isn't it amazing? When it comes to the Titans roster, which let's be honest, we know the Titans roster is not any good. But when it comes to the Titans roster or the Browns roster, they've just got so many needs. It would not make sense for them to take either one of these quarterbacks. But then apparently the Giants and the Raiders just have great rosters. Apparently the Giants and the Raiders, they're just an old quarterback away from having everything they need. The narrative changes depending on which team. Let me just tell you this. If Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders is good enough for the Giants to take them at 3, they are good enough for the Titans to take them at 1. If they are good enough for the Giants to justify trading up to get one of them, they are good enough for the Titans to justify picking them at number 1. If they are good enough for the Raiders to give up God only knows what to jump up from 6 to 1 or 2 to get one of them, they are good enough for the Titans to take one of them at 2. There is no way that Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders is good enough to merit the Giants or the Raiders picking them, but not good enough for the Titans or the Browns to pick them. Unless you want the Giants or the Raiders to pick them because they're big market teams and they're more fun to talk about. New York and Las Vegas, Tennessee and Cleveland. You understand? It's a worst case scenario. They wanted New York and Vegas to be the top 2 picks because that would have just been great. And I guarantee you, if they were the top 2 picks, the narrative would be completely different. And let me just be clear. I'm not necessarily talking about people like Ian Rappaport who report that, hey, the Titans are interested in trading back. The Titans are not sold on either one of these quarterbacks just yet, and they may be interested in trading back. I don't have a problem with a report like that because that's just stating facts. If he has learned that the Titans are not sure about either one of the quarterbacks they're interested in trading back, that's one thing. You're reporting what you're hearing. But for the analysts who insist the Titans don't need to take one of these quarterbacks, but then when the conversation shifts to the Giants, and I don't have anything against the Giants, I don't have anything against the Raiders. I mean, when it comes to teams I don't like, both of those teams are low on the list. It's not that I have a problem with them, but when the conversation suddenly becomes about Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward going to the Giants, oh yeah, I mean, that would just be great. Oh, Shedeur playing the Cowboys twice a year? Oh, man, that would be fun. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, don't just take my word for it. In an interview on a podcast, Coach Prime said himself, the media, some of sports media, has a narrative where they want certain guys to go to certain places because it's more profitable or fun to talk about, whatever. They have an agenda that they would like certain guys to end up certain places. He was talking about Shedeur and Travis Hunter when he said that, where it's like, oh, they would rather them go to certain places because, to put that, the NFL would love for the Giants to be good. They would love for the Raiders to be good. Las Vegas and New York, those are not 2 markets where you want bad teams. New York has 2 bad teams right now. That's another team people are talking about. The Jets trading up to get one of these guys. If they're good enough for the Jets to trade up and get them, they're good enough for the Titans to take them at 1. Mark my words. One of these days, and I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know what the Titans are going to do in this draft, but the Titans are going to force you to care about them one day. One day. I don't know when. I don't know where. I don't know how. But the Tennessee Titans are going to force you to care. They're going to force you. It's just my take on it.